This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting. Brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Tom Webster. Here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, January 18th. First, this week in the Sounds Profitable newsletter, I wrote an article. I propose a reframing of how podcasting is sold to accommodate people who would listen to podcasts if they weren't time-starved by other activities. Using the time management analogy of a jar filled with rocks and sand, where rocks are the larger, important tasks, while the sand is the smaller things that fill in the available time, podcasts are the sand, and there's more room for sand than you might think. Learning a language, for example, takes many hours of practice, yet Duolingo managed to transform it from a big rock into sand by focusing on bite-sized 3-minute lessons and promoting continued daily streaks. Translated to podcasting, this could mean net new short-form podcasts as well as bite-sized snacks of audio to complement a full-length podcast, but more importantly, a way to talk about podcasts giving you more time rather than taking it. In PodPod, podcasts are a key tool for TV discovery, according to some research. A new report from Hub Entertainment Research, surveying 2,500 U.S. consumers, finds 47% of podcast listeners aged 16 to 74 have discovered new TV shows through podcasts. When narrowed to just young adults, that percentage rises to 57%. Of those who consume TV-related podcasts, 92% said the podcast helps keep their interest in a current show while it's between seasons. And another 85% of respondents who listen to podcasts about completed shows say they're listening to create interest in searching out and watching older TV. Well, the Podmove newsletter announced this morning that Amy Poehler is going to keynote with Jenna Weiss-Berman, who's the EVP of podcasts at Odyssey and the co-founder of Pineapple Street Studios at Podcast Movement Evolutions. The keynote address comes after the recent launch of Poehler's pseudo-scripted improv comedy podcast, Say More with Dr. Sheila, in which Poehler giving relationship advice in character to couples played by guest stars is the focus. On the topic of Podcast Movement Evolutions, a quick reminder that the, quote, super duper early bird sale, unquote, pricing for tickets ends tonight, and ticket prices will increase tomorrow. eMarketer reports that TikTok is gaining favor among Gen Z over Google for searches. A new Adobe study finds nearly 10% of Gen Z respondents now prefer TikTok over established search engines like Google when looking for information. This echoes similar findings in a Her Campus study that reports 74% of Gen Z respondents use TikTok for search, and 51% of those respondents prefer it to Google. The platform is apparently embracing this growing trend, as in September, it began testing third-party features like integrated Google search and incorporating Wikipedia entries into its search results. It's also worth noting that TikTok has search prompts natively built in, with the app placing a button with the most common search term on a video if it generates enough search engagement. As far as podcasting is concerned, this search preference trend shows that TikTok is still an important destination for podcasting, even if their native podcast feature was canceled. The audience is younger, and it's showing signs that they're happy to stay in the TikTok ecosystem. And the Daily Beast podcast secretly records Paul F. Tompkins and reframes that discussion. Comedian and longtime podcaster Paul F. Tompkins has taken to Threads to highlight a post from The Daily Beast promoting a recent episode of The Last Laugh with Matt Wilstein. The post promotes Tompkins' appearance on the podcast with a short video clip of Tompkins in a video call. Tompkins says the post is incredibly misleading about the actual conversations he had in the episode, and that he was never told his video feed was going to be used. Paul F. Tompkins has been a prominent figure in comedy podcasting for 14 years and has enough clout to openly call out a show from a sizable platform engaging in this behavior. If it's happening to Tompkins, of all people, there are likely many more guest hosts who may have been soured to the idea of podcasting because similar things have happened that they didn't feel comfortable publicly disclosing. And for the rest of the news, WARC Media predicts that the global ad spend will break $1 trillion this year. Marketing Brew gives a way too early look at cookieless internet browsing, and ExchangeWire asks several experts for their predictions on podcasting and digital audio for this year. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The download is written and produced by Brian Barletta, Gavin Gaddis, and me. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Tom Webster. Download us again tomorrow.